Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game rules by Chaosium. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try very hard to stick to languages for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., that may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I'm your keeper, Keeper Michael, and we return to Masks of Nyarlathotep in our Egypt chapter. And so we'd first like to begin our show by thanking all of our listeners, future, past, and present, as it were. And the show has been a truly a wonderful joy for all of us in the room and elsewhere now, as some of us are remote tonight. But that being said, we have a wonderful investigation to continue on in Egypt, so let's get to it. With introductions, we'll start to my right.
This is Tiffany, and I play Meave O'Shea, and I have a doctor to see. It's not Tottenbach.
Ooh, fantastic. A secret doctor. To Miss O'Shea's right.
This is Morgan. I play Lillian Lane. I think I have some studying of a book to do still.
Oh, are you going to do a little light reading?
I am.
Perhaps a French play.
Perhaps.
At the end of the table.
This is Jake. I'm playing Jack Doyle, and I have some more investigation to do.
Yeah, you do. You have some things on your list, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
To Jack's right.
This is Lonnie. I am playing Adalzar, and I'm really sad in a way that somebody threw my head away.
Well, I mean, you can always go get another one, I suppose.
Well, but I wanted to deliver that one to him.
Fair enough. Speaking of delivering heads, to Mr. Zar's right.
This is James. I'll be playing Dr. Sigmund Tartenbach. And, but there was a head. Someone tell me about the head.
Well, no, I don't think I will. And last but most certainly not least.
This is Alex. I'll be playing Sam Barrel, and I am looking for answers to the immortal question of where, in fact, is the beef.
It's an excellent question. So we return to Cairo in our investigator's safe house, which may or may not be a safe place for the next 24 hours. More on that later. And the morning is arriving very quickly for the residents of Cairo as the sun is beginning to just glimmer there on the horizon. And without fail, Adal, you awake. The events of the past day or so have been a little blurry. You tried to piece together a little bit of your own thoughts on how it all happened, how it all went down. You still feel the grit in between your fingers. You can still see the dark brown stains and the wrinkles on your knuckles. You've washed your hands countless times, but it hasn't managed to come clean.
And I am vacillating between horror at what I did and anger at the person who dared try to do this to me.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's been very difficult to deal with. And you probably chew many thoughts over.
Among other things, yes.
But morning prayers are here, and you have a duty to do in that regard. As the rest of the house begins kind of coming to, you get the distinct feeling that your life is suddenly intertwined in something that goes beyond what you expected as a dragoman here in Cairo.
Well, first I'll take my prayer on the roof so as not to disturb them. But, yeah, things have gotten a little complicated.
Miss Lane, you awake? Someone walks up the stairs near the bedroom that you're sleeping in, and you find yourself conscious again.
I was sleeping, so it's always good to wake up the next morning.
I mean, that's what they say.
They're headed up. I poke my head out the door. Do I see anybody?
Looks like a robed figure. It's likely Otto.
And I knew he was praying on the roof yesterday, I'm sure.
You were aware that he was taking prayer on the roof, yes, last night.
That's a private time. I can respect that. And there's nobody else really stirring the house at the moment, or?
No, you have secured your own bedroom. The doors here are, well, they're not what you would say you're used to. The doors are made of slatted wood here, and so there's a fair gap in some of the wood. It's privacy, but it's not complete.
What's the weather like today?
It's likely going to be warm. It's probably right now about 70 or 75 degrees. It's probably just passing 7 a.m. now.
Are the markets opened yet?
Certainly.
I'm gonna take advantage of the cooler weather and maybe go pick up some baguettes. No, this is not right. Some pastry, if they have any like local delicacy, like pastries or whatnot. Maybe find something in the market.
You could probably find some sweetbreads. Sure, they have likely some figs.
Yeah,
maybe dates.
Sounds good. I'll grab some of that, and then maybe wander around a little bit. Wear a shawl and everything. So
sure. Well, just over your head. Are you covering your face as well?
I will probably cover my face as well, because I'm
okay.
Pretty sure some of the Penyu Foundation folks are probably in Egypt as well. So
fair enough. You collect a little bit of breakfast and head back to the safe house afterwards.
Yep. And I go and I lay it out in the kitchen, and so if anybody wants anything, they can grab it. And I make myself a cup of tea and grab some of the sweetbread, and I go back up to my room and dig my new book out of my out of my bag.
Fantastic. It looks like a lovely play.
It does.
Miss O'Shea, you wake to the smell of fresh tea.
Well, that's nice.
It's not coming from inside your room, but it's definitely somewhere close by.
Well, the plan for today was to get up and have breakfast and then basically wait around until I can go meet Dr. Kafour.
Yes, Dr. Ali Kafour.
So I will probably get dressed and head down for some tea.
Yeah, there's definitely a pot of water that is still warm. You manage to find some tea here, and there's even some bread and maybe some dates and assorted edibles here on the table.
Yeah, I'll just hang out and snack, I guess.
You hang out and snack. Jack, at the edges of your perceptions, you hear voices. You don't understand what they're saying. You don't understand specifically how many voices. It could be 5, it could be 10. You hear them kind of coming in and out as if there's just a cacophony of people around you. And you wake a bit with a startle. And you're in your room here in Cairo, and it's empty.
Has that ever happened before?
You don't think so?
So I'll lay in bed and see if I can kind of refocus. Like maybe I'm hearing street sounds, and I just you subconsciously hearing stuff from us outside.
You close your eyes and you let yourself drift back slowly, and it isn't too much longer until you seem to drift back further. Give me a power roll.
61 over 50. Nope.
Maybe it's the street. I mean, there are people out there now. You can't seem to place it. The street doesn't sound like what you heard in that dream.
Maybe it's nothing. Well, I'm up now, so I better get up.
Likewise, Doctor, you rouse from your slumber as well, hearing the streets around you come to life.
It's an interesting change from London in Europe entirely, but not unpleasant. Is there like one of the small balconies out towards the street?
Yeah.
From the docks room?
Yeah, second and third floors of this house have balconies.
Fantastic. He's going to go down, scrounge for food, see there's pastries, cup of tea, pastry, back out onto the veranda for maybe just examining the city as it awakes. As, seeing it from above is different.
You actually get a fairly interesting perspective on the city. As you kind of look out over this street, you start seeing the different social castes here. You see the servants here who are out getting the final items to take back. You see the merchant class, right? As they kind of prowl through their stalls and their necessary items to provide to customers. And it isn't so much that you guys are in a market district. You're close to one. But your view on the balcony gives you almost this cross-section of humanity. And it stirs something in you rather profound, Doctor. You remember that no matter where someone came from, when you were in the Dreamlands, everyone got treated the same. There was this leveling that had happened, right? Everyone had the same kind of birth.
A grand equality.
Of a sort. And it seems that, to you anyway, that it's something that the people of Cairo and Egypt in general could benefit from.
There are a lot of people who do not see the people surrounding them. It is unfortunate. It is a beautiful city, but so many faces turned to the ground. Doc heads back downstairs to see if there's anyone about.
Yeah, Miss O'Shea. And, yeah. I don't know. I suppose Sam is probably up and awake at this point, preparing to hunt the day's beef.
Guten Morgen, everyone. Off to today's adventures, I see.
I find it's cathartic to shop after murder. How was your night?
Murder-free, I guess. But yeah, I apparently it was not as exciting as yours.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to Otto?
Not as such.
He may be going through a bit of an identity crisis soon. And considering your, I guess, recent,
I have some experience in this area, yeah.
Sure. You might want to give him a hand putting things together, because I don't know that there is going to be an opportunity for him to be himself while we're here.
Understand. Well, yes, I will be available to him. Let him know that he has someone to whom he can speak, who seems to be gathering a rather interesting perspective on this very matter. Doc kind of smells. Have you had breakfast yet, Sam?
No, I was thinking about getting something out there. Though this stuff
shoves a
smell
crisp pastry at you along with a cup. And breakfast is very important before you go out, Sam.
I won't argue, Doctor. Thank you.
Yeah. Then he sits down next to Miss O'Shea. Guten Morgen, Fräulein.
Morning.
Then he slides a pastry and tea over to her. And how are you this morning?
Fine. Just waiting.
For?
The museum to open.
Yes. Right. There's many things going on. It is, what do you say, a hubbub bub.
Yes.
But, how are you finding Cairo otherwise, my dear?
It's wonderful and warm.
I do notice that you do seem to enjoy that, yeah? But it's
I
good
do.
for you. And perhaps the Jaya Veza will agree with you, yeah?
Perhaps.
Have we made any progress on finding a way to stop the whatever that thing is?
That's why I'm waiting for the museum. I have somebody to talk to.
I'm wondering if perhaps we are finding... What is jugs of water about?
Will you be getting someone to accompany you to the museum?
Jack was supposed to come with me.
So, I don't know how aware you are of what transpired last night, but we have reason to believe that if it's not Al-Shakti, it's someone in charge is aggressively sending cultists either on our trail or allocating resources to staunch our efforts. And I'm concerned that they know where we are or who we are. Well, yes, they directly attacked Otto in the street midday.
Probably to help slow us down. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised.
To slow us down, remove our knowledge of the city. And perhaps he is knowing something that they do not like.
Well, it's one thing to try to assassinate them, but he made an example of one of them and removed his head. And I'm worried that Al-Shakti is going to take that as a personal affront.
No, I'm sure he will be fine. Dark raises an eyebrow. Removed his head, you say?
Well, just more so and brought it home.
Okay, that is not a small detail. That is Al-Shak can do his amazing things to someone. But I will speak to him, yeah. A head? Oh, my God.
I'll go with you. I'm hoping to proceed with the ritual that Maeve outlined for me this evening. And I need to determine where I'm going to do that. Obviously, the house isn't really the place for that, but there are the 2 vacant buildings adjacent that I might be looking into. Hopefully our landlord won't mind. Excuse me, Keeper Michael.
Yes.
Since you were kind enough to provide us with a map, can we do a little bit of homework just to make sure that we know who has which rooms?
So on the ground floor of this domicile, there are 2 bedrooms. Right? There are 2 bedrooms on every level, right, of this. It's really more like, actually, what you actually have is like a 3-family apartment building.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because this isn't a single person's house. This is like an apartment building you've rented. So there's 2 ground floor bedrooms. There's 2 first floor and 2 second floor. The entrance to the building is the entrance off the cul-de-sac portion. Okay. And so the balconies, while they allow you the view of Cairo and the sun and etc., not too far beyond those, maybe, I don't know, 15 or 20 feet, there are more buildings. Yeah, effectively. That's about as close as you get as an alley. I guess the question is Sam, are you going to go see a man about a cow?
I'm going to go see Otto.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully with the doctor.
Okay. You guys.
After the doctor wraps up breakfast, I was going to go looking for Otto with Dr. Tottenbach.
Okay. Head up. We'll say that he's just finishing morning prayer.
I was to say, if he's in prayer, I respectfully wait. Once he's done, Guten Morgen, Otto. How are you today?
Look at him. I don't speak German. Hello.
I come over. Is there any seating out here?
There's 1 chair.
Doc takes a seat in the chair. I just wanted to speak to you for a moment or 2, Otto. From what I understand, you went through something fairly traumatic last night?
Oh, no, everything's fine.
While the doctor's talking to him, I'm going to I'm just going to get really close to him and start inspecting his face to make sure that everything's still holding. Kind of like almost like a curiosity. I'm just going to, pull on things, make sure that any of the adhesives or anything else that I added on is still.
You're probably going to do some repair work this morning.
My friend.
That's fine.
And it's in my experience that fine is a good description for sand, but rarely a good description for the mind of a person. I'm not saying that you are not. We'll call it fine. But I'm wanting you to know that with all of the changes that have been, he kind of slightly pushes Sam out of the way with the tip of the cane a little bit so that they can, make eye contact and you can see that the doc is serious but not being overbearing or anything. With all of the changes that you're going through currently, it is natural to want to speak to someone. And I am here, not just as a physical doctor, but as someone who can confide in, who can give you personal and professional advice. Yeah? Not to intrude. But during the things that we have seen, there are those among us who have utilized my medical services. He's trying really hard not to look at Sam. So you understand what I am saying. It is merely an offer of help if you should feel that you need it. That is all. Now, have you had breakfast yet? Are you allowed to? He gestures slightly to the prayer rug. I am afraid I must admit I am fairly ignorant about the ways and means of your religion.
Remind me again of the date, Mike?
It's, we'll say it's March 2nd, March 3rd.
Okay. I haven't had breakfast yet, but I will shortly.
Wunderbar, it is quite important.
Evidently, I'm supposed to go shopping today.
That is what I'm hearing.
Speaking of, have you picked a name for us to use in the streets for you?
Look at him a little bit incredulously, like he's been with me now for, 2 days?
Yeah.
He's been pretty much on my ass for 2 days. I don't say it like that, but he's pretty much been watching me like a hawk for the last 2 days. And it's not like I walk into every place going, I am the great Dragoman, Alzar, yes.
But you do.
No. I only do that to you foreigners.
Yeah, so he implies that, not implies, he asks you what name you're going to switch to.
As I say this, I'm kind of like rubbing his cheeks, like mutating his face a bit.
I'm kind of struck dumb by this entire conversation. This is moved beyond the surreal.
I mean, I could just call you Hey when we're out there.
Doc is doing his level best to stifle a grin behind his hand and the cane, a cough.
Tell you what, we can wait a little bit, right?
If you're going to the effort of trying to hide my name, just do what all of the colonials do and call me Muhammad.
I stop, like, with my hands on his face. Like, kind of twist his face a little bit so he's looking right at me. I am many things, my good man. But a colonial is not one of them. I would much rather you choose something that we call you.
You may call me up.
Well, I'm saying if we're interacting with people on the street, or if I need to get your attention while we're out there, I need to call to you.
Then say Muhammad.
It's say Muhammad in Cairo.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good, Muhammad. I tap him on the cheek.
Everyone will look. I mean, but it's a good distraction. It's like yelling John in the middle of downtown London.
But yeah, if you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate your assistance with finding a cow.
It's very easy. We just go to the butcher and they can, how much do you need?
Just the cow.
A live cow.
Sure, it doesn't have to be particularly large, but a cow, yes.
Why do we need a live one?
Why do we need anything?
Where are we storing a live one? You have a field for this cow?
No, I'm going to murder it. What do you think, Doc? Does he look good? I think he looks good.
Yeah. He looks fine. Okay. Well, okay. Doc is not entirely certain how to the casualness with which we are now throwing around cow murder. I am assuming this cow is being sacrificed for some ritual, yeah?
Yes, the ritual that May provided me with.
Excuse me?
I will be sacrificing a cow to gained favor with the powers that will be enhancing my weapon. Do you have any other questions?
Not really. Our Doc stands up. Well, this is an interesting conversation, and I'll be down the stairs. Doc kind of, in a, like he's lost in thought, walks back inside and heads downstairs to his room.
All right.
I'll get my, I'm gonna go get my stuff together, Otto, and you let me know whenever you're ready to go, okay? It's a good look for you.
I'm just flabbergasted at this point. I literally have nothing to say.
Fair enough.
I'm going to put on my professional guide face, like the moment when somebody decides to step on a snake.
Mm-hmm. And we will cut to Jack Doyle walking into the kitchen downstairs.
Morning, Jack.
Morning. Where is everybody?
I think picking Otto's brain.
Oh, that food?
Yeah.
Oh, get something to eat. No. Obviously, there's no coffee.
No. It looks like a reasonably warm pot of water that someone's made tea out of.
I don't need coffee. I've got a flask.
Sure.
You could add that to your tea.
Anyhow, so tonight we're going to go to... You're going to go study tonight, right?
Did he say at night or during the day, Mike? Was it after the museum closes or?
He said, yes, he said after the museum closes.
Yep, okay.
But he said to return the next day, so that would be tonight.
Yes. Yes, tonight is the meet.
Okay, so we have a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm. Until the museum closes.
Right. Hopefully it won't be too late, because I want to accompany Sam to his ceremony thing. Ritual.
Stay safe. If you do.
Hopefully it won't devolve into anything bad.
I hope not either. I don't think it's that complicated, but I don't know. Since he doesn't do this kind of thing, I don't know.
Right. Worst comes to worst, I just put him down.
The cow?
Yeah, the cow.
Doc walks into the kitchen.
How'd the discussion with Otto and Sam go?
One of two things. Either he is in some fairly serious denial, or there is more going on in his past than I know, which is entirely possible as I have not sat down and talked to him. So, I don't know. It is not good to make a snap judgment in these cases, based on a few sentences. If he needs to talk to me, he will. He is resisting Sam's efforts to make him into someone else. And perhaps if Sam pushes too hard, we may have a problem with Audrey, or Audrey and Sam may have a problem. But honestly, that is not for me to fix. That is for Sam to fix. If Audrey needs help, I will be here.
That's fair. Let's try to just keep them apart for a while. Let them work on it slowly over time.
Yeah. Set together on the roof.
If I may.
Oh, no, I was coming downstairs whistling.
Otto, are you going to assist your, Sam, with obtaining a cow?
Every fiber of my being thinks that this is horribly, horribly wrong. But on the other man, the man is crazy.
You've come to that conclusion.
I have come to that conclusion. The man is not stable. And right now, I'm living on the good graces of the people in this room, which includes the crazy man.
Correct.
So I'm going to put on a smile and go get him a cow.
Okay.
And make sure that I hide every chance I get.
Certainly. So if we could, in the briefest of terms, summate a few things. You would know where to get livestock.
Yes.
Sam, what are you willing to pay for said livestock?
Based on my research, the cost per hundredweight in 1925 varies between $6.10 to $8.80. And I figure even if it's harder to get in Egypt, I'd be paying somewhere in the realm of like $100. or pounds, I guess,
Yeah.
would be what I'm using.
Egyptian pounds.
Yeah.
So
So that's,
are you going to inform your buyer of that price limit?
if it ends up being more, it ends up being more. We don't necessarily need a particularly. Now, in my opinion, if we're making some sort of offering, and I'm not really sure how the context of ritual sacrifice works, but in my experience, if we're going to make an offering, it needs to be, a good offering. So I'm not going to get like a sick cow that's on its way to dying, or like an old cow. Like, it needs to be something that is worth offering. So I guess I would go as high as 140, because that's like the upper range of what I'm seeing here, assuming that it's like a 1,600 pound cow.
Certainly.
So that's a big cow.
Okay, so I have
Like, if it's not that big, then it can be cheaper.
I have
Obviously,
a couple of logistical questions then.
Mhm.
We'll say that it is possible for you to get a hold of a cow, likely a male, as even for someone like Otto, even someone buying a cow, sacrifice is one thing, but sacrificing a female cow might be a little harder, because they're obviously a little bit more sought after, given the fact that they can produce milk.
And calves.
yeah, and
Correct.
calves are more expensive too.
They are.
So it can be a beef cow. It's
So
fine.
the second question I have is, where the fuck are you going to put it?
My goal was, after I came downstairs after my engagement with Audle, I was going to whistle on my way downstairs and kind of holler over my shoulder that I was going to check out the buildings next door, and that I'd be right back.
Right.
And then I was going to go check out the buildings next door.
So I'll give you a brief package on that as well. Vacant for the moment. But Otto, you would know that Duncan, the man you with the doctor rented the buildings from, doesn't own those other properties. And so, like, when Sam goes out to start looking at these other buildings, you can kind of sum up what he's likely trying to do. He's trying to find space for where he's going to put this cow at. So you'd know that information. But yes, given a reasonable once over, Sam, the buildings are vacant at this point. And while there are no ground space for them, if you were to, say, make your way inside one of these
move the
buildings,
cow into the kitchen through the back door.
right,
Sure.
you could probably somehow get the cow into this vacant building. Sure.
I picked the one that I think I'll have the easiest time getting it in, and that seems accessible, that has a reasonable amount of space.
Sure.
I have a pretty good idea as to my understanding of, like, my, I guess, previous lives, occult circumstances, and, ritual-esque stuff. I want to make sure that I have enough space to operate and enough space for the cow.
You should have enough space on the ground floor here, although if that bull gets agitated, it could prove to be difficult.
Oh, I have plans for that. We're good.
Okay, fair enough. So with that sorted, then the two of you are going to go buy a cow.
Can I add something to your list?
Sure.
I want you to get, if you can, shovels, maybe a pickaxe, pry bar, some boards. Yeah.
Are we going
hammers.
for, like, expedition supplies?
Kind of, yeah. And a hammer or two, maybe some leather straps, nails. Yeah. That should do it.
So, like, archaeological, basically, like,
Yeah,
supplies,
yeah.
that kind of, okay. Where I'm going to need a bit of funding then.
Mm-hmm. We'll get you some money.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take Audle's face for a test drive.
The two of you go out, and at about the 125 Egyptian pound mark, you locate what is likely 1,200 to 1,300 pound bull. You know that whether it would be breeding or feeding, this bull is above standard, above average in size and strength. While it is not the greatest bull on the market here, as there are other pricier pieces of livestock, it is a fair beast. And you almost feel a little tinge of guilt handing the money over to the livestock trader, knowing that you're sentencing this animal to death. But you pay for it.
Yeah. Hey, Mohammed, could you ask this gracious cattle owner if they know any butchers that would take a carcass?
It would be best to just sell such a thing at the souk, quite frankly. They would
Sure.
They would most who raise cattle deal with that sort of thing themselves, and they don't take shall we say outside product.
I just didn't want it to go to waste. I smile and nod at the rancher, I guess they would be, right? And while we are browsing for the other things, I will engage once again our dragoman in conversation. Like, I get that this all seems surreal, but I need you to understand.
I'm going to hold up a finger at this point.
Okay,
This is best talked about not here.
we can't talk about our feelings in public. I kind of bat my eyes at him. Like, I'm just saying.
I am halfway tempted to anger the bull right now.
I've seen strange things. I just want to make sure that we're safe. That includes you. I will continue walking the bull.
I fall back a step or two, and I just look at the sky, and I ask Allah silently what I have done to deserve this.
Oh, the list is long and lengthy.
That is not true.
Probably the first thought you have in your head is the dried blood that won't come out between your fingers. When you ask what you've done, you instantly know.
I have a headache now.
So, Jack, Miss O'Shea, are the two of you making any preparations before seeing Dr. Kafour later?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get some books together and, have some notes that I've already taken on other things and, try and just have what I have that could help. I mean, I don't really know what everything's going to entail because we haven't really talked about that yet. So I'm just going to take what I think we'll need, which means my satchel is going to be full and heavy with books.
Very well. So I'm going to dial forward the clock a little bit. And we're going to get on towards afternoon. If the rest of the investigators are seemingly taking this as a moment of respite before other things continue, I would like to deal with one thing before we get on to Dr. Kafour. And that would be some sort of animal handling roll from Sam.
Sure.
Because I kind of feel like you can lead a bull to a house.
Oh, so as far as getting it docile, so when I bring the cow home, I tie it off behind the house, just kind of leave it there. And then I go find the doctor.
Oh.
Oh, doctor.
Yeah?
We did just replenish your supplies, didn't we?
My medical supplies? Yeah.
How are you doing on sedative?
Oh, I have, let me see here. I have actually one or two. Are you thinking?
Perhaps some de-stressing agents of some kind, something to calm a bull down.
Let me see if I have, it is by body weight, mein friend. And I do not know, how many pounds does this bull weigh?
Probably about 1,300.
Okay, yeah, I do not have enough. I am not having enough for that, no.
Well,
But,
we don't need to put it to sleep. We just need to get it to relax.
oh, hang on. He closes the door with Sam outside
Okay.
and does actually break off a small chunk of the, hash that he purchased in the marketplace
Sure.
and wraps it in a piece of paper. Opens the door back up. Here, feed this to the cow. It will keep it docile for quite a while.
So I have to give it all of the cow? Can't I keep a little?
But what you do with it beyond that is not up to you, in fact. This is not up to me. As a medical professional, I cannot advise against it.
I think I have a few things as well. If I could also get some of the sedatives as well. And I have some things as well that I can utilize to make sure that this goes smoothly.
All right. Yeah, Mike, Doc gives Sam some sedative, but not so much that he bankrupts a necessary amount for one of the people or more here, because he has no idea where he's going to get more medical supplies. So
Sure.
Maybe half a bottle.
And I would like to, if I can, make a chemistry roll to make sure that like I know what I'm doing.
Sure. I'm going to say, given the non-scientific measuring of hash, yeah, it's going to be probably a hard chemistry roll.
Yeah, there you go.
I do, so is this hash plus sedatives plus anything else that I happen to have? And that is a failure on my chemistry roll. That's okay. It's a cow.
Okay.
All right. So I'm not going to dose the cow yet.
Right, but your stuff is mixed up and ready.
Sure. And then I will go into the house and start making all of the preparations for the ritual. Now and this is just me, I don't know how context works in like Call of Cthulhu, right? So I imagine that if Sam is going to be beseeching some sort of higher power to bless his weapon, I don't know if the details of the ritual entail a specific like deity them appealing to, or is it kind of a like insert deity here thing? Like how does that work?
Oh no, it would be the deity that the ritual prescribes it against.
Okay.
So like within the ritual working, within the ritual context and ritual working that was you were given it to, it has a deity that you're going to beseech for this power.
Okay. Since I don't have context, I would go get Meave.
Sure. I assume she's in her room doing work.
Yeah, doing creepy shit.
I will tap, tap, tap on her door.
Hello?
Meave, do you have a moment?
Sure.
I like open the door a little bit, poke my head in. So, I'm getting the area ready for this ritual, and I was hoping you wouldn't mind taking a look at my work and making sure that everything is in order.
Sure, because I don't want you blowing up anybody.
I just kind of shrug. Sure.
So what am I looking at? Like notes or how you have the area set? What are we going to look at?
So I will walk you next door past the cow to the house where that's where I would have set up all of the ritual stuff inside the kitchen. So whatever I have to set up there, that's where it would be. So I don't know what is.
If I remember right, I think the ritual has to be done under the moon. Like that's why the moon is crucial. Like you have to do it out in the open.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess we're going to do this in the backyard.
Right, Mike?
That's correct.
Well, that makes this whole process of having to sedate the cow a whole lot easier. Then I guess I will move all of my things. So I have brought an acacia bowl and a few other things to catch the blood of the cow and to put the weapon on. So I have a block
right
for offering and all the other basically whatever's. I don't know if I have to dress the offering, because what I'm familiar with, if we were looking to make an offering to a certain Lua, we would adorn the offering with relevant sigils and tokens, and I don't know a whole lot about who I'm beseeching here.
Well,
who am I talking to anyway? I flip through the ritual. Who's
that? The ritual came from which book, Meave?
I don't remember.
And just for clarity purposes, that's what, Enchant Knife?
Blessed Blade. I think it was from the Book of Iban.
It appears to beseech a deity called the Whisperer in Darkness, which is why you must cast it, of course, at the new moon when the skies are the darkest.
And if I remember right, deities like that don't really care about adornments. They care about the actual lifeblood.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I pat the cow. Looks like we got plenty.
It gives a very long moo.
It's okay, buddy. It'll be over soon. Any other notes to add then?
I was gonna say, would I point out like astrological directions and like where things need to line up or whatever?
The biggest thing that you seem to point out here is the need for him to make 7 distinct cuts in the animal to form this symbol.
Right.
And the toughest part about it is the blade can't leave the subject's body while he makes the cuts, which means it has to, once it goes in, it has to stay in, and he has to physically move the blade around inside the skin and guts.
This is the blade that I'm blessing or whatever? Okay.
I hope you have a way to hold it still.
I have a few ideas. The exterior changes a few things, but we have plenty of time until nightfall. Well, I appreciate your help.
Well, I don't really want it to go wrong, because if it goes wrong, there's so much that can go wrong.
Well, I would also hope that it doesn't go wrong.
All right. So, given that the hour grows late, Maeve, do you collect Jack and go to see Dr. Kafour?
Yes.
Heading back to the Cairo Museum is a nice walk, Jack. Cairo seems the same as ever since you arrived.
So you know what? Hey, so Maeve, I want to talk to you about something real quick.
What's that?
There. What Sam had said about us needing to be prepared, he's not entirely wrong about that.
I agree.
I've been thinking maybe we could pull together some of the information that we have gleaned from different encounters and things that you've read in your books and put together kind of strengths and weaknesses of some of the creatures that we may have run across or may indeed in the future run across.
Yeah, I mean, I only know so much about any given creature. I've only read about so many. Up until now, it seems like the only one that has had a definitive weakness is this, what was it called? Flame vampire? I don't remember. But this flame creature.
Well, it's just something for us to think about. Maybe when we have a little bit of downtime, we can try to put something together.
Yeah, if we ever have time. I mean, if I come across anything, I can make notes and then we have it, but...
Yeah, it'd be great. And then, I can write down some stuff that we've come across and we've noticed, and the rest of us can do the same.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that Sam is so bent on this ritual is because one of the only weaknesses of the creature that we came across in the Miser house was magical weapons.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, that ritual is not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I have a feeling that you're absolutely correct, which is why I really want to be there. But anyhow, let's get on with our goals.
Yeah,
for
let's
the
see
night.
what other sacrifices we need to make so we can do this one.
Well, Dr. Kafour welcomes you both back to the museum. He tells you that he hopes that you've had some sleep, gotten your rest.
Definitely.
And you're prepared to move forward with research tonight?
Always.
I hope that both of you understand that what we're going to be researching is dangerous.
It always is.
It's a Tuesday.
He furrows his brow. I'm not sure what the day of the week has to do with this.
I'm just saying, anymore, these last several weeks for us have been insane, and everything we do is dangerous.
Very well.
It's just another day.
A terrifying life to lead.
It's tiring.
Come with me.
So, Doctor, do you want me to stay out in the museum? Where do you want me to be?
Well, that depends on how invested you are in this.
I want to make sure everything goes according to plan and nobody's harmed here.
He smiles. I have done some investigation into these scrolls before. Each time the experience is different. They're ancient scrolls.
So you want security for them. What may come out of that? That's what I'm getting.
I want security for us. The very reading of these scrolls can call upon entities which are not of this plane.
Okay.
The wrong passage read, the wrong name uttered, could have horrible consequences.
Then you want me by your side. Got it.
He walks down a long hallway until you get back beyond the open part of the museum as you were before. He walks down a different hallway this time, though, and he leads you to a very large door. It looks like a bank vault, and he says, "Please turn around."
I will.
And you can hear, Jack, him work through a spinning combination dial, and the clicks, which seem to accent this empty hallway. There are 4 or 5 different revolutions back and forth, until finally there's a very loud metal on metal sound as a bolt gives free, and he begins to swing the door open. And the first thing you experience when this vault door opens is something which is rather telling, and that is the cold rush of air that exits from his room. It creeps along your skin. It invades your pores.
Is it wet?
No. You don't feel a moisture. You feel cold. He turns to you and says, "We will limit our time in here as much as possible, but understand that once we begin reading, it may be difficult for us to stop."
Okay.
Once the group itself is within the threshold of the vault, he pulls the door closed. He walks you to a very long, wide working table. And on this table, he pulls back a white sheet with various symbols adorning it. Mostly what you are fairly certain, Jack, are occult symbols. Maybe you're familiar with some of them. In fact, the one in the center is very familiar to you. You've carved it into floors before.
Nice.
He says, "We will begin with the first scroll." You see these scroll cases, Meave, and they're probably 3 foot long, and they're maybe probably 12 or so inches in diameter. And he opens the first seal, and you can hear this kind of pop in the room. And it's not a pop from the scroll case or its cap. It's like an air pressure pop. Tell me, Miss O'Shea, are you familiar with many Arabic scholars?
Scholars? No.
Cultists?
Mm.
No? I'm surprised.
Why?
You're very learned.
Well, I have collected many things as we are traveling.
Truly. And you, Mr. Doyle? Any specific occult knowledge I should be aware of?
Not much, no.
This scroll, as he kind of begins to roll it out, is ancient and dangerous. Were I not completely convinced that the two of you were on the right side, you'd have never made it in here. But I am convinced that your character is right, and that you truly mean to see the Brotherhood end.
Very much.
Good. Then, shall we begin?
Yes.
He rolls the scroll out from right to left, and you see a very old version of Arabic.
Can I still read it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can definitely still read it, given the Ankh.
Yes.
Are you still keeping it in the same place?
Yes.
It begins to warm. Like you feel that between your breasts.
Mm-hmm.
The temperature increase is significant.
Well, I will do my best to ignore it. For now.
An ancient and powerful Arabic scholar wrote this. I'm surprised you've not heard of him.
Who is it?
Abdul al-Hazrad. These 10 scrolls were penned in the 9th century. This is very fine goatskin. Of course, I'm certain you may have heard it and referred to by another name.
Oh?
Certainly, there are many versions of this, although few exist today. But in my circles, he nods at you, Miss O'Shea, in our circles, scholars might refer to this as the Necronomicon. So, Alex, how is Sam preparing for this outdoor ritual?
So, now that I understand the details a bit more as to how I need to operate on this animal, I feel like sedation and restraint are going to be my friends. So I'll be looking for rope, chains, pretty much anything I can use to restrain the animal. Considering I'm probably going to have to root around on its insides while it's awake, I'm going to definitely muzzle it. I'll probably use some of those leather straps that I picked up for Jack to keep its, mouth shut.
Certainly.
Yeah, I'll try to find enough to basically tie it off so that I can drop it on its side, keep it from moving. Once I have it tied off, then I'll basically stretch it to wherever I need to. So if I find fence posts or what have you, to keep it stretched so that it can't get any leverage or, kick me with its restrained hooves.
Certainly.
But I don't quarter it, but I tie its legs together and then stretch it north and south,
Okay. You've administered the medicine?
Not yet. Basically, it depends on how well I do with the restraining thing, because the medicine was specifically to get it inside, and I didn't necessarily know. I thought I was just going to have to bleed it out.
Sure.
Having to hold it still and draw on it, basically, or draw in it, is a bit different. So I'm more concerned with the physical restraint right now. I want to keep it still.
Well, I'd like you to make me a ride check. It's as close as we'll get to it, and I'm going to put you at disadvantage for this.
Okay.
I'm going to watch him do this.
Mm-hmm.
Can I roll natural world?
For?
Knowing how they handle cattle.
No, unfortunately, the closest thing you're going to get to it is ride. Natural world is more like informational knowledge about the species would be natural world.
Lillian's probably heard the commotion going on and wants to come see what the heck's going on.
Fair enough.
Okay, you said at disadvantage?
Yes, sir.
There's no way I can succeed at this. Yeah, so there's failure number one.
Okay. So the commotion that Miss Lane will probably hear then, that will bring her out here, is you non-sedated trying to get this thing into position, right? Because your big concern is obviously the animal is going to move when you try to draw a blade on it.
How I would approach this is I would first work on lashing its legs, right? And then I would basically trip the thing.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm saying is that you trying to lash its legs, that's what it's having a problem with. It's fighting that.
Okay. Then I will dose it.
Okay. Lillian, you come out to seeing Sam feedable.
And I had heard commotion. Sam, why do we have a cow in the courtyard?
I'm sorry, were you not present for
No.
the whole ritual conversation?
No,
Okay.
I've been in my room all day reading.
Oh, well, yes. So Maeve gave me a ritual that I'll be using to make a weapon a bit more capable of dealing with these monsters that we keep fighting. And it involves a sacrifice. I continue patting the cow while I feed it.
Of the cow? So we're good with animal sacrifices now?
I mean, I don't know what you're good with. I have my reasons.
I mean, is next step going to be human sacrifices? Are we going to sacrifice babies, but we're going to sacrifice this poor cow? As Lillian progressively gets louder.
Well, I wasn't planning on sacrificing any humans or babies.
So for you to make a magical weapon, this cow has to die. What's involved? Is it going to be a swift death? Are you cutting it off limb by limb? I mean, what's the steps?
It's pretty inhumane.
So this poor cow is going to suffer because you want to make a more powerful weapon.
Yes.
And Jack was okay with that?
I don't know that matters.
Well, part of my...
Are you coming here to stop me from sacrificing this cow?
Actually, you're getting slobbered on that quite a bit, Sam.
I don't think this is right. It's not.
Okay.
Because you want a weapon? I mean, it's kind of the opposite of what we're trying to do. We're supposed to be the good guys, and here you are sacrificing this cow.
I'm not going to spend the air justifying my reaction to the horrors that we've had to face. We've been willing to sacrifice plenty of people in pursuit of our investigation.
Yeah, but those were bad people. Those weren't people. This cow... What did the cow do?
The shopkeeper was a bad person?
The shopkeeper died by somebody else's hand. That wasn't our fault.
He would not have died had we not accosted him.
They would have gotten to him eventually.
He had no reason to. It was because he shared information about them with us.
But I'm talking about the cow. The cow doesn't deserve to die. Neither
did the shopkeeper.
There's a line. This is a line.
The cow is going to make a con roll.
The cow is going to run away down the street.
Okay. So the cow falls over. The cow rolled a 97.
Whoa. So what does that mean for the cow? Like he passes out?
Shit.
The
cow died.
The cow literally falls over.
Is he breathing?
You don't know.
All right. Can I check?
Sure. Yeah. It's not that hard after a few moments.
Okay. Do I find a pulse?
Yeah.
Just so we know, the night, it's time, right? Like this is time.
Yeah, it's nighttime now. Yeah.
This is messed up. This is.
You need to go.
This is not okay.
You need to go now.
You need to not tell me what to do.
Okay, well then you can stay for this. And I pull out my machete.
This is jacked up.
Shh! I need to focus. You might want to get Jack. He wanted to be here.
You need to get smacked upside the head.
Okay. So you begin to focus. You begin to center yourself and draw on that internal strength you have while holding your machete. And I think it's at that point I'm going to call an episode to a close. And so with Sam's machete in preparation and Miss O'Shea beginning to dive into the first scroll pages of Necronomicon, I will leave you all there. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see if anything survives past contact next week. And we thank you so much for joining us again. Have a great night.